Can you dig it?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, and we getting ready to do this thing, man, because I'm coming off of a whirlwind weekend. And it started on Friday, man, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City. Me and the lovely Queen Charmel, just going, just reminiscing old times, man. Just turning back the clock a little bit, just keeping a little spice in the life, if you know what I'm saying. All you men out there, man, don't get too lazy, man. Don't get lazy on your women, man. Make sure you treat them right, man. Treat them right when need be, because like James Brown said, it ain't nothing without a woman. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
I hear you, Book. Yeah, I mean, it's been a whirlwind weekend. Happy 4th to everybody out there. July 4th, we couldn't miss an episode of the Hall of Fame with everybody. I mean, there's a lot to get into. But I think that there's like specific things that we should talk about first. But really, what was going on in Vegas? I mean, I know we have Money in the Bank, the little UFC action. Did you
Cirque du Soleil.
What show did you catch?
Yeah, me and Charmel, excuse me. The first show Charmel and I got a chance to see was after a show in WCW way back in the day, right? And we then again, it might have been WWE. Yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. It was WWE. It was WWE, but it was early, 2000s, and it was before the kids or anything like that. And I remember we was in Vegas, and we went to go and see after the show. And I was so tired, man. I was so tired. I just wanted to close my eyes and go to sleep in the theater. But the show was so interesting. I had one eye open and one eye closed watching it because I swear, man, I'm serious. That's how I was watching it, because it was so good. It was so alive. And I don't know, 13, 14 years later, Charmel and I, we got a chance to go back and see it one more time. And it was just as we remember. It seemed like some of the characters were actually the same people from back then. I could be wrong, but they look so close to what I remember. So awesome time. Yeah, definitely.
Now, was in the Bellagio, right? Or do I have that wrong?
It's in the Bellagio. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the water theater, and the theater is like so awesome. The music is so awesome, because most of it is live music. They have an orchestra and whatnot. So it's just beautiful. All the brothers out there, man. If you haven't taken your lady to see a Cirque du Soleil show, you need to do it. Last time Charmel and I was out, we went to see the Michael Jackson theme. And it was all right. It was all right, but it's kind of hard recreating the King of Pop. You know what I mean? So it was good. It was good. And
What did they do? I mean, did they have like Michael Jackson impersonators, or did they just play the music and like dance to it? Like I don't know what that one is.
It was a lot of dancing to it. It was a lot of different themes. But it wasn't like or anything like that. It wasn't like Zumanity or anything like that. Or Ka. Yeah, Kyle was real good too. But it was all right. You know what I mean? If you're a Michael Jackson, fan, you probably really get off into it. Even though I was a Michael Jackson fan, it just wasn't my cup of tea. But Charmel wanted to check it out, so we had to go check it out.
That's sometimes how that works. I just wonder, like, who's the best? Has there been somebody who's done, I don't know, an impression or an imitation or a tribute that you just thought, man, they knocked it out of the park? Because I've never seen one, really who's just been like, wow, they were just like the real thing. I know you say the Temptations are always around, but I don't think they're ever as good as they were with David Ruffin. I don't know. Have you ever seen anybody who got close?
Not really, man. Not really from a impersonation perspective on stage. live, like you got the Elvis impersonator. And come on, come on. There's no way you can recreate the King. But nah, man. The one person that did really make me feel like he was the person himself was Tommy Davidson doing who was it? That covet. Can't think of it right now. Who was it? I'll think of it before we get out of here. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Tommy Davis is super talented. We saw him a few months ago.
yeah,
A
yeah,
month
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. Las Vegas was home to a lot of combat sports over the weekend. But speaking of combat sports going down, this Saturday, we have a big show going on for all of you at the Booker T World Gym Arena. Summer of Champions, our annual big event in the summertime. I think this is the 8th one, which sounds insane that we've already had that many. But this is the 8th one. And the main event is going to be Team Booker versus Team Charmel. Winner gets control of the company. A lot of other big attractions there as well. You look like you have something to say, though.
No. I just remembered who that was. It was Mr. Bojangles. Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr.
The legendary tap dancer and performer.
With somebody. He's done so many. And the thing is, when I went and saw him for the first time, I was like, God, this guy is so freaking good. He's so good. He's next level. Like Richard Pryor, like comedic. But definitely one of a kind.
Yeah, no, love Tommy Davidson. But we were talking about Summer Champions. Big main event. Team Booker versus Team Charmel. Winner gets control of Reality of Wrestling. Television Championship's going to be on the line. The Texas title is going to be on the line. The NWA Women's Championship on the line, and of course the Diamonds Division Championship, all on the line at Summer of Champions. The Reality Wrestling Tag Team Champions are going to be in a big 6-man tag match. So I mean, there's so much going on. This is one that you don't want to miss, and I think that this 5-on-5 match might be the biggest match that we've ever done at Reality of Wrestling. When you think about it, you are captaining a team both as the coach, but you're a player coach this weekend. I mean, are you ready to get back into the squared circle?
I don't have to prepare, man, because I'm already in the gym repping, staying ready for situations like this. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting in the ring and dusting off, some of the old dust, some of the cobwebs, and seeing what's still left in the tank. Yeah, I'm looking to test myself. And come Saturday night, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be coming off of a whirlwind tours, as well. Because on Friday night, I got some work in San Francisco, so I'm going to be catching a red eye home to make sure everything's right when the situation happens. So I'm coming in hot, you know what I'm saying, from 30,000 feet. So I tell you this, Team Charmel, be ready to go down. And I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're not gonna make it easy for you. We're gonna make sure you guys feel a whole lot of pain come Saturday night, especially that Gino Medina. I cannot wait to get my hands on this kid because I made him an offer that he should not have refused to be a part of Team Booker. And he turned it down.
Hey, you know what, Book? I mean, I think Gino owes a lot to you as far as his career. You helped train him, helped get him on the map. But his allegiances lie with the Queen. We'll see. When you talk about star power for Reality of Wrestling, Team Charmel is Stephen Wolf, Gino Medina, Edge Stone, Ryan Davidson.
Cannot wait to crack that stone. I cannot wait to break that stone into 1,000 little pieces. I cannot wait. And it doesn't matter who's on their team. That's the thing. It doesn't matter because Team Booker will be victorious. As always. It's always been that way with me. It's always been 35 championships. It's actually 36 when we won the Reality of Wrestling Tag Team Championship back in the day. So I'm gonna tell you right now, it's always been this way. We've been doing nothing but winning since day one. But right now, we got to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Because we'll all day get to know each other so well. Power just one from Bolton. And look at that! And now De La Cruz sends Carter out with her. Look at that cartwheel. That athleticism by Roxy is what we know her for. She is the prodigy for a reason. She rolls through and now connects. And another. Look at this. There we go. Immediately, we talked about chaos. Top to blow. Flies. With the small splash. 2, 3.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. You said it, Brad. You said it earlier. What should we start with? What should we start?
Well, you know, I mean, we were there in Las Vegas, Nevada. I think we get to that in just a moment, but we're talking about big things that are going down this weekend. We talked about Summer of Champions, tickets still available at realitywrestling.com. But what we need to also talk about is there's a biography coming out about The Undertaker on A&E, which I'm really, really excited to see. But following that, immediately following it, a debut of a television show that is anchored by Peter Rosenberg, Jackie Redmond, and I believe the two-time Hall of Famer you're looking at right now, Booker T. Smack Talk makes its debut on A&E immediately following that biography. What can we expect this weekend, Book, from Smack Talk?
For me, real talk. I'm not, trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. I just want to let the people see exactly what, some of these guys go through, as well as, some of their mentalities, as far as what does it take to get to that next level. And, when somebody, just say, for instance, talk about the Ultimate Warrior and how quirky he was, how different he was. Sometimes you got to be different to be the guy at the top that's leading this whole thing. You got to be. I always say Michael Jackson wouldn't have been Michael Jackson if he wasn't as different as he was. Prince or any of those guys. And I think for me to get up close and personal and let the young guys that's out there doing this hear what it took for these guys to actually get to that level. I could honestly say I didn't have a whole lot of friends back then because I was thinking about beating these guys. I was thinking about squashing them. And that's not, I'm not saying that in a, from a malice perspective, but I wanted to be the guy. And to do that, you had to go out there and, sometimes do it a little bit different than others. So that's what you're going to get from me. Having Peter Rosenberg there with me is definitely a plus for me because, Peter and, Jackie, they make me look good on any moment's notice. They make me look good. And Peter Rosenberg, he's kind of like a historian as far as wrestling goes. He knows so much about wrestling, and not just wrestling, but the wrestlers that actually did it. And it's awesome. And for us to get a chance to talk about it, to the world and let the world, peek behind the curtain just a little bit, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A big fan of Peter Rosenberg and, of course, yourself and Jackie Redmond. I'm getting to know from all the shows that she's been doing with WWE. Should be fun. Again, don't miss it. Set the DVRs. Do whatever you have to do. If you have your YouTube TV, just save the program so you don't miss that this weekend, the debut of Smack Talk on the A&E network over there.
Sunday night. Don't miss out, guys. Sunday night.
Sunday night's going to be big. Book, why don't we talk a little bit about what we saw over the weekend, Money in the Bank. I really enjoyed that show on Saturday. Love the Saturday WWE pay-per-view, by the way. Don't you like it more than Sunday? You tell me what you think.
I got a chance to get home and play golf yesterday. I loved it. Got a chance to play 9 holes yesterday, man. Started the round off with 2 birdies. And so I was like, man, I should do this more often. I'm liking this. But yeah, man, I like the Saturday pay-per-view a whole lot better than the Sunday pay-per-view, actually. Getting home on Monday, I don't know. It's just something about it. Getting home on Sunday, you still feel like you had just a piece of the weekend still. So that's what I liked about it more than anything, as well as doing it out in Vegas, getting a chance to get done, relatively early.
Do you think the boys prefer it? The locker room to have that extra day?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, and not to know they're not going to have to work on Sunday. You know what I mean? They know they're going to have that Sunday off. I don't know what they did, that Friday though. You know what I mean? Because that's the part that I always used to hate that part of the business. Having to work the house shows going into the pay-per-view. Man, I used to hate that, man. Or, working the house shows, and having to go to Monday night. I hated all of that. You know what I mean? But no, I think the guys can appreciate having that Sunday off, definitely.
Well, especially after a show like Money in the Bank, where you have ladder matches aplenty, probably a lot of welts and sores and bruises the following day. We had 2 big Money in the Bank winners, and I think that's kind of where we start. Is Liv Morgan won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and she went out there, Booker, after the Ronda Rousey and Natalya match, and she did it. She cashed in. She beat Ronda Rousey, which very few women, by the way, have ever done. She beats Ronda Rousey, and she is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. The internet loved it. It seems like the people in the building loved it. Everybody reacted positively to this. What do you think of Liv Morgan and her being the new SmackDown Women's Champion?
You know what, man? I've been saying it for a while. As far as making stars, giving people credibility to be able to go out there and win. And you got to be able to pull the trigger on a lot of these young guys that's coming up, because the Liv Morgans, they're the future of the women's division. I mean, that right now, Liv Morgan, she still got years left in the business, so you can't wait till it's all over with for Liv Morgan to say, hey, let's do something with her. You got to do it now. That's why I was talking about Raquel Rodriguez. You got to do something now with talent like that in order to make them. We talked about Cesaro being around and not being made. Because after you're made, you could do a whole lot. Because you're made. I think about Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss. She was women's champion there. I think twice SmackDown, twice Raw.
Something like that. So they're the tag team champions at one point.
Exactly. So just say, for instance, if Alexa Bliss wins, are you surprised?
No.
Exactly my point. That's what I'm talking about. You got to know how to make stars in order for when they do win, it's not a surprise or anything like that. On any given Sunday, it's supposed to be like that. So I like, Liv Morgan slipping in there under the radar and boom, becoming made in one night.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, now she's kind of legitimized herself, and not just beating anybody, but beating Ronda Rousey, right? I mean, that carries weight still. And I don't know how the majority of the people think, but I think beating Ronda Rousey is still a big deal. And then she just came back back in January, won the Royal Rumble. She hadn't lost a match since. So for 6 months, she's been undefeated. And before that, I think she only lost one match prior. So this is her second loss in WWE, her WWE career, and it's to Liv Morgan. And I think that that's going to set something up big for SummerSlam, right? Which is another event where you can make somebody. Now Liv has the title. Let's solidify her as a star. And because the crowd's behind her. I mean, that's obvious. And I think you and I had a conversation. I think it was on this show a few weeks ago about Liv.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Liv, right now, she's in a make it or break it position. It's going to be all on her now because it's all about, what have you done for me lately? Winning the, the Money in the Bank and, cashing in and all of that. That's fine. But going out there and performing on a weekly basis and being the champion, this is where the rubber meets the road for Liv Morgan. So we're going to find out what Liv Morgan is made of going forward.
Right. I mean, it's only half the journey of winning. I'm sure you felt, and I think you've talked about it before, when you won the WCW title that night in Daytona, the Bash at the Beach, and you went back to your hotel room. Didn't you say you just stared at the championship for a while because you knew this was the journey to win it, but now it's so much more, right? It's one thing to win the title, but it's another one to be champion.
I was scared, man. I was scared if I could hold it, man. If I was the guy, was I the world heavyweight champion? I wondered, and it was a long, pretty much sleepless night, getting ready to go to TV that next day to get the answer. You know what I mean? Because the fans is going to be there, and they were going to let me know, if they like me or not. And I was so relieved. But then I had to go out and perform every night. Made a bold prediction. I'm going to defend the heavyweight championship on all the house shows. Every Monday night, I'll be defending the title. Just stupid, But but I wanted to be a little different, and I wanted to show the world how good I was. And I want to prove it more so than anything. So she's in a very, very unique position. She's going to have to go out now and deliver and perform at the highest level that she's ever performed at before in her life. That's what Liv Morgan is right now. We got to take a break, guys. We got to take a quick break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Just talking about a little bit of the pay-per-view went down this weekend. Money in the Bank. Liv Morgan, guys. Liv Morgan is the new champion, and I wonder what the world think about it. That's what I wonder. I wonder what you guys think about Liv Morgan being the champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think for even just from the comments I've seen thus far online and even in our chat, people are really excited about her winning the title. And here's the other thing. You talked about using these opportunities to elevate a performer, right? Elevate somebody on the roster to make them something, right? Make them feel like they're a bigger deal. One of the guys who has in a very short time felt like a major player on the show has been Theory. Of course, he comes in, he has the backing of Vince McMahon. He has the big WrestleMania match against Pat McAfee. He wins the U.S. title from Finn Balor. And then he goes out there at Money in the Bank and he loses the title to Bobby, which at first, when I was watching the show, was a bit of a head scratcher. They had a great match. They tore it up. If anybody out there has anything bad to say about that Bobby Lashley Theory match, I'll be surprised. But he loses the title, so I'm thinking, where's this go? Well, come full circle at the end of the show. He's put into the Money in the Bank match, and he goes out there and he wins it and becomes the youngest Money in the Bank winner in WWE history. This is a lineage now of 17, 18 years of Money in the Bank. Youngest guy to ever get the job done. And the show ended with him standing on the ladder, taking a selfie with the briefcase. What do you think about Theory as Mr. Money in the Bank?
No, I said it, man. I said Theory, he may not win, but he's not going to lose. That was my prediction on Theory as far as the pay-per-view goes. Just because Theory's a guy that I feel like we got to, keep the rocket on him. We got to keep this guy hot. Certain guys like him come along in the business, few and far between. I was actually talking to Theory earlier in the day before the pay-per-view. And like I said, on the show here several times, I think I said Theory gets it. He gets it. And he came up to me and said, "Man, I just want to thank you, man, for putting me over." And I go, "Trust me, if you sucked, I wouldn't be putting you over." You know what I mean? I'm serious. That's what I tell him.
You get no love.
You be getting no love. But I said, "You're good, man." And I sit and talked to him a little bit about, certain, parts of Shakespeare of the business, and he was just like soaking it all in. He was like, "Man, I wish I, had that." But he's a student of the game. You could tell, and he studied a lot of that old school style of working. You're not going to see this kid jumping off anything to get over. You're not going to do it. But he's definitely a unique talent, and for him to be in that position, it goes to show that you can rise up through the ranks if you got talent. If you got talent, and Theory has an abundance of talent. I see nothing but a bright future for that kid.
Yeah, again, we talk about checking boxes. He can get it done in the ring. He gets a real reaction.
Yeah.
Because when Adam Pearce came out there, was like, "There's one more person we're going to add to the Money in the Bank ladder match." Everyone's excited. Like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? He goes, "Theory." Instant booze, right? Instant booze. And not like, "We don't want to see you booze." You could tell this kid has already found out how to generate some real heat with the fans.
Oh, man.
And I loved it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see for me as a worker, as a performer, worker, just because when this guy turned babyface, they're going to love him. I'm going to tell you right now.
Mega face.
They're going to love him so much. It's going to be nuts. So I'm just looking at, the Picasso, in its, middle stages of the painting right now. That's where we are as far as Theory goes. So we just got to sit back and watch him work.
And the thing about him too is he can go bell to bell. Like if you watch, he's super athletic.
Oh yeah,
he does a hell of a drop. He does a lot of great athletic maneuvers, right? So you're right. When he gets to be that baby face and he starts to really show everybody all the stuff he can do in the ring, the crowd's going to eat it up. But let me ask you this: 24 years old, okay? Do you think he goes out there and wins the title when he cashes in? That's a big thing to do, right? To win the title. Only two people have ever been that young. I think it was Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar to win the title at an age around there. Is he the guy to beat Roman? Is he the guy? Where do you see this going? I just have I think he holds on to it for like a year. I think it's going to be a long time before he cashes it in. Do you think he could beat Roman? Would that be the guy? I know that Cody's sitting on the sidelines right now. So,
you've been around me long enough, man. You should know the answer to that.
You don't book the show.
I don't book the show, but it's not losing. It's just how you lose.
Right.
He could beat Roman. He could beat anybody on the card. If the situation is right. You know, I mean, if a person is unconscious when I cash in, who loses?
Right. Nobody.
Exactly. So you just got to know if you book it properly. Theory, you know, he's not going to be one of the guys who got the briefcase and didn't cash it in and win it. I just don't see that happening. This kid got way too much upside for something like that to happen. Yeah, that's just me. That's just me. And what I would be thinking if I had Theory in this position, I'm looking for the next John Cena. You know, I'm looking for the next Roman Reigns. And one thing about this business, you promoters are always looking for that guy. They come few and far between, but they're always looking for that guy. You know, so Theory has literally rose up out of the ashes because he was down there in NXT. But let me tell you something. Cream always rise to the top. You can see it. And then the wheels start turning and you go, man, I don't know, man. I like that idea, but maybe we need to go this way right here. You know this guy right here. Now that's what we need to do. We need to put the rocket on him and push him to the moon. And then you put a guy like Theory in a position to fail. And he just keep knocking them out of the park. He just keep hitting home runs. He just keep hitting home runs. That's when you know you got the guy. Theory's been doing a hell of a job. He's been doing a hell of a job. I can't remember one misstep Theory has had since being put in this position. Not one.
And that's saying something. I mean, to be as young as he is, right, and be able to rise to the occasion. And here's the funny thing too is like I think WWE, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. Of course, when the show went off the air, the whole internet was like, "Oh my God, they put Theory over. They're shoving him down the throats." And it's either like they're pushing the old guys and the part timers, and they don't make new stars. And then when they try to make new stars, you're pushing this guy down my throat, right? like it's like a dance.
Well, the internet wrestling world, it's not that big, and a lot of people are gonna hate. No matter what WWE does, they're gonna hate on me, no matter whether I say something good about somebody or not. And that's just the way that world is. But Theory is not to be denied as far as how talented he really is. He's not your everyday wrestler that's just in the business to go out and want to be like their idol that they watched once upon a time. Theory might have those same thoughts, but I really think this kid understands it's about making some money. It's about working at the top of the card. It's about being the biggest star in the business. And that right there is, for me, my bottom line. And if someone say you could have these accolades, you could be the best wrestler in the world, I will take these over here every day. Every day. Every day. I want to be the biggest star. I want to make the most money. I want to be the guy with the most charisma, opposed to being the best wrestler. Yes, I would. And I look at guys like, just say, for instance, a Bret Hart. Bret Hart, the excellence of his execution. I think Bret was good at all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Even though he was the excellence of execution, he was a hell of a star. Kid looked good. He could work. You know what I mean? He could cut a promo. That's money for me. And I think from a promoter standpoint, that's what I'm looking for all day long. Theory.
100%, man. And you know what? That's why I said Money in the Bank was a really huge show for several reasons, but to make essentially 2 stars in one night, right? Really put them on the map. Liv Morgan's now a champion. Theory is carrying that briefcase, which more often than not means you're the next guy, or you're at least going to get a shot at it. Or we could see, I mean, could Cody come back, right? Now I'm fantasy booking, but Cody comes back. He wins the Rumble, right? Goes out there to wrestle Roman on night 1 of WrestleMania. And then Theory goes out there and cashes in after Cody wins the title, right? Or something, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many great ways he could do it for Theory, for Cody to finally get to the mountaintop, and then Theory takes it away from him in the same moment. Oh, that'd be great.
That's a good theory.
That's a good theory. Well, we got some more theories to talk about with Money in the Bank. I think we're due for a break, but I want to bounce some stuff off you here in a second.
Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
A little bit. But I think the match that everyone kind of saw me at my, I got the right exposure, I guess, is when I faced Ricochet in Japan for the Best of Super Juniors. And I think a lot of people saw that match and was like, all right, well, this is what Will does. He's a flippy guy. But I saw the constructive criticism that everyone would say, and I would go, hang on, no, they've got a point. They have got a point. We could have done some stuff different. We could have done this, that, and that different. And then I got in the ring with a guy called Shibata. And in New Japan, like, he was like top, like, do you know what I mean? He's like he was one of the new generation Three Musketeers. And I would be like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And he looked me dead in the eyes. Like, he just looks at me, he goes, no. Oh, mate, I'm so scared. And he didn't, honestly, he didn't tell me a single thing of what we were going to do until I got in the ring.
Yeah.
And I was so scared.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. And we're just talking about a little wrestling went down this weekend. Money in the Bank. Las Vegas, MGM, Grand Garden Arena. I didn't have no problem getting in the arena this time. The last time we were there for SummerSlam last year, we were in the Allegiant Stadium. And I swear, man, I was I was sweating so bad trying to get into that arena. I don't know. I forgot how early the show started. And once I got on my way, I probably had about an hour and a half to get there. And then I'm driving around the arena. Next thing you know, it's an hour. Next thing you know, it's 45 minutes. Next thing you know, it's 30 minutes. And I'm about to lose my freaking mind. Like, what the heck is going on? The cops got me going this way. Cops got me going that way. Finally, I just said, screw it. I just drove and I just parked, got out, walked to the front door. And told this guy, I said, man, I'm Booker T. I got to get to the table. I got 15 minutes before the show starts. And he goes, so I'm sorry, sir, you got to go and buy a ticket. I looked at him and I go, excuse me, sir. I need you to help me. I swear to God. I said, I'm Booker T. I go on the air in 15 minutes. And then next thing you know, oh boy, his chest got so big, he started moving people out of the way. He got me right to the table. I had about 10 minutes to spare. They put me on the headset. It was a good thing I was dressed in all white, so it looked like I was going to SummerSlam party,
Yeah.
I swear, man, I was sweating bullets, man. But the one part I never forget is telling the guy, I go, I need you to help me. I made him feel so important. I swear, man. He felt like the president. He started just moving stuff, man. And he got me there at the table on time, bro.
Oh, that's sensational.
It was crazy, bro.
Sensational. Again, we were talking about Money in the Bank. It went down at the MGM Grand, where Booker T and I have watched many a great fights go down in person. And there was one other thing I wanted to talk about on the card. There was a candidate for match of the year on this Money in the Bank card. One of the best tag matches you'll see in recent memory. The Usos defended the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles against the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. They went out there and ripped it up, Book. And since that match was so great, it was such a great tag team match. Usos, they're solidifying themselves, Booker, as one of the greatest teams of all time. I mean, they were probably already in that convo a couple years ago, just based on their longevity alone. But after seeing their work over this last 365 days, they're the best tag team in wrestling, and they're going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
I agree. I agree 100%. And the thing is with the Usos, man, we're just watching these guys mature. That's all. We're just seeing them get older, getting wiser, going out there and perfecting their craft to the point to where you look at it now and go, wow, man, these guys are really, really good. And it takes that. It takes, getting older sometimes to actually start, working a certain way to where you really start to feel it opposed to just doing it. I say the Usos is going to be great. A long time ago, I said these guys are going to be great, and they're proving that. But in order to be great, you got to have a lot of other great tag teams to work against, and that's where the Street Profits come in to play it right here. Street Profit from a year ago, no way they would have been able to go out there and have a match like they had with these guys on Saturday night a year ago. There's no way. Those guys, you can look at the maturity in Angie and Montez. You can see the growth in these guys in ring knowledge, but you could tell they've been in the gym working out. You know what I'm saying? You could tell they've been training. And Montez, he looked like a totally different dude now. And then they go in the ring and work totally different as well. It's real now with Street Profits. And with a name like Street Profits, you gotta be real in order for people to buy you. And right now, they're working at a level where people can look at them from a realistic perspective. And I think that's the only difference that we're seeing right now. Guys are stepping up, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the Street Profits are up, and they did, especially, and I want to give a big shout out to Angelo Dawkins, because I feel like a lot of the times when we talk about Street Profits, people talk about Montez, rightfully so, because he's so great when he's out there, and they see him as being the next breakout star. Angelo Dawkins showed me so much in that match on Saturday night, and it made me start thinking, hey, man, I think this guy could have a good run as a singles.
Well,
A lot of times I think when the tag team breaks up, right, one guy elevates, the other guy kind of stays around. It's the Marty Jannetty thing.
Let me tell you something. If this don't get picked up on the sites, I'm gonna be hot. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if Angelo Dawkins ain't listening to the internet and people talking about Montez Ford being a singles and people wanting to treat him like a star, if that don't motivate his ass, nothing will. Okay. He know if he don't think the chatter is real, that's on him. Okay. That should motivate Angie to and I'm gonna tell you right now, I see the difference in Angie. He's a totally different guy now. He looks different, he walks different, he talks different. And when he get in the ring, he works different. So I think that's a motivating factor to keep this tag team thing rolling. Like I say, it's gonna be a time, but I just don't think the time is now.
If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said the time is now. I would have said, oh, you know what? I think that they had a good run. Let's break them up. Let's see what they can do as singles. But after that match on Saturday, completely changed my mind. And going back to Angelo Dawkins, he did so many small things right in the match, right? Just so many little tiny itty bitty intangibles from facial expression, just the small things. I don't want to even say too much, but he just did so many great things on Saturday night, and it made me look at him differently. And obviously, you can't ignore Montez. In that they couldn't talk about it enough on commentary, the 20 pounds of muscle this man has added, right?
Yeah,
he does. Yeah. He looks like he can actually go in there and you'd be intimidated by his presence. Before, I mean, he had an athletic build, but he wasn't, big by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Now he's big and he can still do all the same stuff.
Don't body shame the brother, man.
Don't you get me in trouble. But now he actually looks like he could do it. Now I am a little worried because they're all.
What you said? He didn't look like he could do it before. Is that what you're saying?
That he had an athletic build, but he wasn't as intimidating from a physical presence as he is now. Like you see him now, and you'd be worried about crossing him.
Oh, okay, all right. I just wondered. Let's get that straight. All right, because
it is straight.
I don't want nobody coming after me. Okay, that's Brad saying all.
I said it. Hate tweets at Brad Gilmore, please. But the one thing that did get me scared was they started saying, well, there are rumors on, backstage in the locker room that Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford haven't been seeing eye to eye lately. And I'm like, don't plant that seed just yet, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it after that great of a match.
Well, as well as I get it. Montez could definitely be a single star, but I do think we need strong tag team division right
Yeah,
now. And I don't, I think over a period of time, Street Profits could be replaced, but I don't think they can be replaced overnight. Okay, so I say let this thing roll for a little while longer, because we got something now. We got something now. Before, like I said, a year ago, if they broke them up, I wouldn't have cared one bit.
I agree.
I'm serious. But now, it's some thought process, it's some work going into trying to make this thing there again feel like Street Profits. In order to have a name like that, you got to have some dirt on you, dog. You got to go out. You got to be in the back alleys. You know what I mean? I'm serious, man. And that's what I'm feeling with Street Profits right now.
So we'll see what the future holds for them. But of course, after the paper, you saw the articles coming out that backstage they're talking big about Montez. But we'll see. We'll see where it comes from, because I thought that card on paper, Money in the Bank, is going to be a fun show because of the ladder matches. But on paper, I would say, oh, okay. I mean, they got some stuff on there. I mean, it'll be all right. And then the show I thought was just so much better than it was on paper. It was just so much better. The wrestling was really good. The stories were good. The surprises were good. It was a show, and I was thoroughly entertained.
Well, maybe people could stop talking about WWE and their pay-per-views and whatnot. Maybe people could stop talking. Because me personally, I can say, I thought the last, 3-4 pay-per-views has been money, has been gold. I don't think the storylines leading up to it, other than the bloodline stuff, has been like really, really strong. But once the show start, it doesn't matter, because something, get your attention and your taste buds seem to like something about the show. So I think whatever they're doing from a writing perspective, I'm all in. I'm all in. I just want to see what's next. That's all. I just want to see what's next. And I know something's coming up. I could feel it in my bones. I could feel it in my bones. Something big is around the corner. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
On the indies for a couple of years, and for me, I could not take that experience back for anything. I mean, learning how to wrestle in front of 6 people and trying to draw emotion out of people who maybe just by happenstance came across the show, but to work with conditions where the ropes some are too tight, some are too loose, some of the rings had big dips in it, trying not to trip over the canvas, and just having that experience of working in all these different, every ring was different at every indie show that I did, and so to know that I have to put on a good show regardless of the circumstances, even if the ring doesn't show up and I have to wrestle on a gymnasium floor, hoping for the best, it really, really helped shape my ability to be able to think on the fly and made me who I am today.
What's up, this Booker T, 2-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the Shine, checking out the Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world heavyweight champion, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT, guys. And right now we're just talking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little UFC, a little Money in the Bank. I know we got some super chatters that we want to get to. Brad, what do you think we ought to start at, man? What do you think?
We do have super chatters we're going to get to, but I want to say one more time, this upcoming weekend, the debut of your new show on A&E, Smack Talk, will be airing after the Undertaker biography. A lot of great biographies coming out this year. I think Bella Twins, D-Generation X, Edge, Lex Luger is one that's coming out, which I was surprised with. And I was listening or watching rather Mick Foley's show called Foley is Pod. And he had they asked him, it was him and Conrad, and they asked him, when did you start feeling that WCW was gaining traction on the WWF product before, that 82-week run, right? And he mentioned you and Lex Luger, and I have a clip of it, and I just want to play it and get you to react to it. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, here is Mick Foley on Foley is Pod.
I could catch the shows, and the match that struck me was Luger and Booker. And I remember Luger and Booker had a really good match, and then Luger cut a promo. And it's not saying it was an all-time, it wasn't like a Dusty-esque or Flair promo, but he said something, he said, and Booker T's gotten really good. It was a way of elevating Booker.
Yes.
Like, I think that people started to see Booker in a different way, as if he could be part of the card. And I just remember thinking to myself, they've got the hot hand.
So that was Mick Foley talking about a match that you had with Luger on Monday Nitro, and he said when he saw that, he thought, man, WCW has the hot hand right now. Do you remember this match, and what do you have to say to Mick Foley's comments there?
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Mick, we're really tight. Mick has not a bad word to say about anybody. So him talking good about me, that just could be, that's just Mick. But no, seriously, what I remember about working with Lex Luger, it was one of the first times I worked with Lex Luger, and Lex was a mainstream star at that time. And I remember working with him, and it was a flawless match. Lex didn't do anything special or anything like that, but I was in there with a top guy. I knew that. I knew I was in the ring with a top guy. I knew I was getting beat, you know what I mean? But I knew I was in the ring with a top guy for back then, the way it was, if they put you in the ring with a top guy and you get any offense, you might, they might be looking at you. And for me, I think it was pretty much a 50-50 match. He beat me. But to be in there with Lex, it was, for me, a big feather, in my cap, man. That was a big notch on my belt, just to be in the ring with Lex Luger in WCW back then. And there again, the promo, I didn't get buried in the promo or anything like that. It's still letting people know, man, Booker T is, he's gonna get his shot. The kids, he's good. We're gonna put the rocket on him, send him straight to the moon. But tonight, he's gonna have to take my finish. It was one of those.
Tonight, he's taking the torture rack.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I can take that. So for me, I kind of understand, what Mick Foley's coming from, because that was, I think the best version of Lex Luger from a wrestler's perspective, it would have been, at that time period.
Yeah, Lex is an interesting case, when he was in WWF, really he was a WCW guy who came over to the WWF and had a good run, won the Royal Rumble-ish, right? The year that they tied, and he had the WrestleMania 10 match for the title against Yokozuna. They really tried to establish him as the next great American hero after he had that run as the narcissist and things like that. And it didn't really click. But let me ask you this. When he left WWF and he showed up on that first Nitro, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Did you feel like that was a big deal?
For some reason, man, I always knew Lex Luger was a big deal, okay? I always knew he was touted to be, like the next Ric Flair or the next Hogan, just because he had the body. But no diss to Lex Luger or anything like that. I just never looked at Lex like one of those guys. Lex just didn't have the feel of Hogan and Ric Flair. And he didn't have the charisma Lex and Hogan and Flair had. Not that he didn't have his own thing, but I think those guys, you know, they just felt bigger than Lex Luger. I don't know, maybe because the way they made the fans feel, and I was a fan at that time watching Ric Flair. I was, wanting to be like him. Watching Hogan, man, I wanted to be like Hogan, and watching Lex Luger, I didn't really want to be like Lex Luger.
Yeah, I hear you. I know that they talk about that moment a lot, and I'm sure they're going to talk about it in his biography when he made the jump back to WCW on Nitro. I always remember just his he had an odd shirt on, if I remember. It was like a white shirt, like a white button-up shirt, but it looked kind of like, I don't know. You don't remember that episode of Seinfeld?
Like a waiter's shirt.
Yeah, it didn't look like
Like
it didn't
you-
look like the
Yeah,
guy.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was buttoned all the way up to the top.
All the way to no tie.
No tie or anything. yeah. I don't even think it had a collar.
It may not have. It looked odd, if my mind is right.
I remember that. Yeah.
But definitely no knock to Lex Luger, the total package. Just great guy, great talent, and I'm glad that they're giving him some love because I feel like he doesn't get any real recognition anymore. He kind of gets, I don't know, I want to say passed over, but he just doesn't. He gets looked over sometimes. I think Lex Luger. But here's the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, had no collar. Easy. Yeah, it looked like he's a chef at Benihana.
He just needs the hat, and he's good to go.
I'm serious. No, but Lex was so he had his own thing, man. He had his own feel. But when he came back over, I didn't know how, if it was a big deal or not. I just, like I said, I never looked at Lex as a wrestler, as one. Just say, for instance, I don't think Lex cared about being the best wrestler in the world or anything like that.
Right.
I know he was, cool with making money, but I don't think Lex was about, going out there and really giving the fans a, 5-star. I don't think that's what Lex was about. And I think that maybe, that's what I looked at, and Ric Flair always went out and tried to give a 5-star match. Hogan, as limited as he was, I don't remember Hogan having a bad match. I always remember how I felt watching Hogan, at 305 pounds, getting the hell beat out of him, and him shaking him, asking you to, get me back in this thing. That's what I remember, and then, I'm back in this, that's what I remember with Hogan, so I don't know. I think it was the aura, factor between guys like that.
I think you're right, but we'll see the Lex Luger doc coming up, and again, check out.
It's going to be good. I'm just getting a chance to talk to Lex Luger about the way things was, and more importantly, the question I had for Lex Luger, and you guys are going to get a chance to see it, was how much pressure did he feel being that guy, walking in the shoes of Hogan, and having to fulfill that, that part of, perhaps his legacy or not, so I think that's what's really intriguing. And the answer is even more intriguing.
Oh, a little tease is what we call it in the industry.
yeah.
So we'll check that out. We do have some super chats. Let's get to one before our next break. Brooklyn Bryan says, Vince Russo said Roman versus Brock again. Cena returns because WWE has nothing. I say call up Sioka to join the bloodline, and Toxic Attraction decimates the women's division. We just talked about how Money in the Bank made a couple new stars, or at least put them in perspective. But what do you think about that book of Russo's comments?
As far as Roman and Brock, that's a, he may not want to see that match, and a lot of people may not want to see it, but I do think, like I said, when it happened, when Roman said, I did my business and I'm out of here, and then that music hit and Brock Lesnar walked out, I don't think were you expecting that?
I wasn't expecting it. I was not.
I don't think a lot of people was expecting that. I really don't. Because I wasn't expecting it. I just wasn't. Um, and I saw a lot of comments was like, well, who else would it have been? You know what I mean? Like they expected it. You know what I mean? So I think that's a match that definitely can be a huge match. Any way you look at it.
Well, I will say this. I was not looking forward to it. Like, I just thought that they went to the well one too many times until Saturday night. WWE has a way with their package, their video package people. They put together a video package for SummerSlam, and I got so hyped when I saw that. I was like, I can't wait to see this match now. So, last time, they're promoting as the last time, last man standing. I'm interested.
Hey man, as well as Cena pulling the trigger and bringing Cena back. I don't know what Vince Russo said because I didn't see it, but I think if Vince Russo was booking the show and he had a chance to bring Cena back, I think he would do it too.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the third one? What was the third part of that
I want
question?
to see Toxic Attraction.
Oh, hell yeah. Bring the toxic. Now, you know what? Now, leave toxic attraction right where they are for right now. Because Mandy Rose is killing it, man. She's killing it. Let Mandy continue to do her thing. And when the time is right, we'll bring Mandy Rose in and just let her just do the damn thing like it's supposed to be done. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. You're worth it.
Walker Texas Ranger handles the bad guys with a roundhouse kick. I'm Jim Walker, Walker Texas lawyer. I handle the insurance companies with a roundhouse kick to the wallet. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, give me a call at 713-552-1117 or visit my website at walkertexaslawyer.com. You'll be glad you did. Why would you call anyone else?
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. It's my man Brad Gilmore along with the 5-time champ. Actually, 6-time champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. And you know what? The wife got a ring. The brother got a ring. We got rings all in the family, man. You know what I'm saying?
Got them all over.
Hey, man, but I know we got some super chats. Let's get to them, dog. Let's get to them.
All right. This one is from Brooklyn Brian again. Israel Adesanya, UFC's 276 entrance, The Undertaker. Yeah. Izzy came out as The Undertaker with the urn.
How'd you like that, man? How'd you like that?
The entrance?
Yeah, give me your honest opinion.
Well, I mean, like, as a wrestling fan, obviously, whenever another entity acknowledges professional wrestling and the greatness thereof, I get excited. I do think it's interesting that UFC tends to be leaning more into like the wrestling side of things as of late.
Yeah.
So part of me loved it. Part of me was like, oh, okay. I mean, I think it's a little too showy for a fight. But that's also the nature of Vegas and fights, right? It's going to be over the top and big. I liked it, at least if you're going to do The Undertaker, I like that he had the urn with Jared's name on it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't seem to have loved it, though.
I liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, man, I think
I had to downplay it like that because I didn't want you to think I liked it.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, it's kind of funny because Colby Covington, right, comes out to Kurt Angle's theme. And now you have Izzy coming out to The Undertaker's theme with the hat and the urn and the whole 9 yards. It's just interesting how big of an impact pro wrestling has always had on MMA. Because the way that mixed martial arts and the UFC is set up, it is set up in a lot of ways like the WWE, right? In so many fashions. It's really the only game in town, for the most part, the top game in town. You have the CEO and president, who's also a very prominent figurehead for the company and voice for the company. and you try to build up big stars who cut promos and lean into characters in order to sell pay-per-view fights. And now they're just taking it to the next level, and they're having their guys do full-on WWE style entrances.
You know, like I said, I like it because you get a chance to see the fighters, personality side. Just say for instance, when you watch boxers come out and they got somebody rapping them to the ring, it just feels a certain way. When they come out and they got a whole lot going on, whatnot. It feels a certain way. And my thing is, I think that's what made the UFC popular back in the day was, the guys like Chemo coming out with a cross on his back, you know what I mean? A real life-size cross, on his back, guys like, Chuck Liddell, the way he came out, guys like Tito Ortiz, come out, break, with his flag, with his flaming skull cap on, stuff like that. It made you feel.
I think Tito had pyro.
Exactly my point. My thing is this, if UFC, was smart, they say, hey, man, you guys could, have your own interests, but you got to pay for them. The pyro is this much. The extra girls, they're this much. You know what I mean? Your costuming, that's on you. If you want a microphone in your hand, that's gonna be this much. You know what I mean? For this much time. I think Israel Adesanya's interest was like the most interesting thing we've seen in the UFC since 1990. Since 2000.
Okay. Yeah. But I will say if they adopt that philosophy of it's going to be this much extra, we're not going to see any of those interests. They're like, you want me to pay my nutritionist, my trainer, my cut guy, my corner man?
Look, the star's going to do it. Only the main event guy's going to do that. You know what I mean? The guys that ain't making $5 million a fight, it wouldn't be wise for them to do it. But the guys making big money, come on, dog. It ain't going to be but a small grip. Okay, a small percentage, maybe 2%, something like that.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. The next one here, the Speezy99 says, just watch your A&E special. You're a true inspiration.
Appreciate it, Doc. Biography was pretty cool, man. I got a chance to watch the Treasures episode for the first time. And I must say, man, it was really, pretty cool, too. Me looking for my old robes and looking for the TV title. It was a really, really cool episode. And the way it went off with just me laughing, I was like, that's just crazy. Yeah, so I appreciate it. And we got a whole lot more coming for you as far as WWE legends, WWE biographies, and rivalries. Just about anything you want WWE is going to be coming up on A&E real soon. So let's get ready to check it out.
Our next one comes from Brooklyn Brian again. Appreciate you, Brian. WWE teased a return of Edge with a throwback style video. How about Edge teaming with two other superstars to take on Judgment Day at SummerSlam?
You know what, man? People seem to be behind Edge already, coming back. So flipping the script, making the fans feel a certain way that quick. Hey, I get it. That's what stars do. I think Edge could come back tomorrow, and the fans are going to be on his side to go out there and whoop the Judgment Day's ass. And then if it happens, they're going to be even more behind him. So I think that's what the boys do. That's what the old school teaches you, to go out there and be one thing one day and the next day just flip the script. So let's see exactly what happened with Edge. I'm looking forward to it.
As am I. We'll see what happens. Judgment Day. They had the injury to now Rhea Ripley. I think she's on the shelf right now.
Yeah, she's out right now.
Poor timing, right? To pull the trigger on this angle, and then one of your stars goes down. We'll see what happens. Hopefully she can bounce back.
Do you know what her injury is?
I think it's a concussion. She said a brain injury.
Yeah, that's right. I heard. I did read that.
So I think it's a concussion. They haven't confirmed, and it seems as though like concussions now, maybe it has been a dirty word in all wrestling, because I think that's what Brian Danielson's suffering from, but they won't like confirm it. I don't really know why that is. If he has a concussion, just say he has a concussion. If she has a concussion, just say she has a concussion.
Yeah, but these days concussion is like career ending.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like a dirty word.
Yeah, so you want to stay away from that word, as much as you can. I'm sure they wouldn't want to be talking about that. And I just talked about it, just last week, with Adam Cole. That kind of stuff happens in the business. It's an inevitable. It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of when in most situations. And safety is not the number one thing with a lot of the young guys. You don't start thinking about safety until you get about 30. And then you start thinking, like, wait a minute, why am I so sore all the time? Then you start thinking a little bit, so.
And then when you get 60, you decide to hell with it and you jump off the top of
just
stuff.
jump off anything. You want to feel the pain just to feel alive. When you get
just playing, of course.
No, we're not.
Eddie Kane Maine says, was glad to see Fly Def get their revenge. Yeah, that was on the most recent episode of Reality Wrestling, streaming right here on the Reality Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. And also, immediately following the Hall of Fame on our Reality Wrestling Twitch channel, you can watch our big Sugarland Space Cowboys Constellation Field show that went down a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah.
Watch that in its entirety with our host, Kirby Carry-On the Reality Wrestling Twitch channel. So make sure you stay tuned for that if you're watching us right now on Twitch, which I see some of you are. So salute to our Twitch people. But yeah, big things coming down for the row on that regard. Make sure you get your tickets for Summer of Champions as I scroll to the next super chat.
And before you get to the next super chat, I was there at that big show with my man Gaspar Hernandez in a special type of match, 2-on-1 handicap match with the odds stacked against my man Gaspar. And he went out and just ran through those two boys like a hot knife through butter. You don't want to miss that, guys. Check it out.
We'll try to get to this one real quick here before we go to break. Brooklyn Bryan says, if Theory tries to cash in the Money in the Bank contract on Roman, Uso, Sammy, Solo would rush the ring. Paul Heyman too. The Bloodline. We the ones.
I like the idea. Everybody always wanted to book the show.
We want to book the show. It's what we do.
Everybody want to be bookers. You know what I mean? I might need to hook up another class at Reality of Wrestling. We got, we teach referees. We teach wrestling. We teach guys how to work the lighting. We might need somebody, to start signing up for booking classes, and it'll be probably $3,500 to $4,000 if you want to learn how to do that.
Well, those are the secrets. You're laughing. I'm not.
Oh man, if you want to be a booker, go to the website. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. You're worth it.
For 13 years, the King of Solar Screens has been an industry leader, and we proudly use 100% American-made products. Home of the $55 any size, any color solar screen.
Well, what about arches?
$55.
What about circles?
$55.
What about rectangles?
$55.
Any size, any color, installed free. The King of Solar Screens, on time, every time.
Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're just moseying along, answering a few super chats. What else we got, Brett?
All right, we're rounding third on today's episode of the Hall of Fame, but we got one from Kid who says, thoughts on Mace male model gimmick. I dig it a little. Of course, the former Brendan Williams is now a part of Maximum Male Models, I believe is the name of it. And this is Eli Drake, LA Knight's new character. Oh man, I can't think of the new character's name. It's
what is it?
Max Dupree.
Max Dupree.
Max Dupree.
Yeah.
And so Mace is one of the male models.
Let me tell you, man. This is a tricky character. Okay, that's what Mace is gonna have to deal with. That's what Brendan's gonna have to deal with as far as this character goes. So hopefully he's listening. Hopefully this will get back to him somehow. But I always love the character Fandango. Okay, Fandango. I love Dango. Okay, I felt like that character was tailor-made for the business. Okay, and it could like really get over like crazy. That's what I thought about Fandango. I thought Fandango should still been in the WWF if it would have been played right. But I didn't think it made you feel like Fandango was a guy that could dance in the ring as well as out of the ring. Okay? What I mean by that, Fandango never felt like he was mad. Never felt like he was angry. Now, with this character, the male model at 6'5", he got to be the meanest model you ever seen in your life. His smile got to be a snarl. You know what I mean? He can't just be going out there, in front of the camera, looking for snapshots. His snapshots got to be a little bit different. And then when he get in the ring, the model got to really show off. You know what I mean? Can't be missing a beat. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing play out because I can only imagine if I was the model. Good God, I would love playing that role. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it play out.
Well, Rick Martel did a great job with the model gimmick back in WWF.
Rick Martel did a hell of a job, especially when he brought out the perfume, the cologne, Arrogance.
Arrogance, yeah.
yeah, I'm serious. So I'm digging it, bro. I'm digging it, but he's got to play that character all the way out, and he got to find, Mace, who Mace the model actually really is.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. At first glance, it's a big eye roll, right? Like at first glance, it's a big, oh man, this is a rough go of things for you.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before, right? At first glance. And something turns out to be something that I love. Fandango, that's a great example because that was another big, like, he's a ballroom dancer. Like, this is what we're trying to get over. You know what I mean? Or you know what?
But
another guy I didn't like was.
But you don't think Fandango could have got over? You don't think that?
I think he could have. Yeah. I think they tried though. I mean, Jericho put him over at Mania.
When Fandango's voice, I said, this is what I thought. Fandango had to change the voice. The voice was not working properly.
It was like that
voice
deep.
Just none of that works. Okay, I need you to still be able to make fans feel like this dude's bad, man. He's.
But
let me tell you, when I when I watched Adrian Street play his role, or Adrian Adonis, guys like that. They made me feel like they could still go out there and beat the crap out of you, even though they had like fairy gimmicks,
Right. I mean, Goldust, right? Kind of worked that way at first.
Yeah, it's Goldust. I mean, Goldust, man, he beat the crap out of those guys when he was working them. The character went out of the window. You thought, man, this dude, you could put the world title on him. It's the way you felt.
It's definitely how he worked in the ring. And I will say, I think that he might, there's a couple guys who or exceptions. But I think if you have a ballroom dancing gimmick, it can only go so far. You're not winning the world title
I disagree.
as a ballroom dancer. Look, it's the same
man.
reason as soon as guess what? As soon as John Cena won the world title, guess what? He forgot how to rap.
Well,
Right? There's certain things you just cut out.
If that's the case, King Booker shouldn't have never won the title.
That's an exception to the rule.
No, it's not.
It
Why?
is an exception.
Why is that an exception?
Because it was phenomenal.
No, what I'm saying is, it was phenomenal because of the way I took the role, and I don't think it's the role.
fair.
I think it's the person that's got the role. The person that's got the role got to make you believe that, man, you can put the title on this guy. You can actually believe him because the way he goes out and do his business in the ring, everything else goes away once you get the people to believe that. And I think that's what happened with my role as king, opposed to everybody else who had played that same exact role.
I think that I mean that's a great point. It is a great point. I think that you also benefited too from being made, as you put it earlier, right? Like we already knew Booker T was that guy. Now the King Booker thing.
A lot of people would disagree and say the king role made me. A lot of people would say that.
Yeah, and maybe you're right.
Me personally, I wouldn't say it, but a lot of people would.
I mean, they might be, and you know what? They might say that, and that's their opinion. I just think that Fandango or Maximum Male Models, at first glance, it's a big face palm eye roll moment for me, but I'm willing to give it a shot and see how it works out. And you're right. If Brendan goes in there, or Mace, goes out there and, like you said, works like the meanest male model in the world, yeah, they can make it happen. They could probably get to a certain level. I don't think it's a world champion gimmick.
Well, I don't think any gimmick is a world champion gimmick. I think the person make it a world champion gimmick. Everything can fail.
Sure.
I look at that's just the way I look at it. Everything can fail if it's presented a certain way, such as King Booker. It could have failed if I act like I was from the street. If I walk with the crown cocked to the side and I just walk with a limp, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would have been like a clown. At the end of the day, people would have looked at me and go, man, he just messed his whole career up. That's the way people would have. That's what we would be talking about as far as my career if that would have happened. So I really, honestly, truly believe, the person that get that character, it's up to that person to really make that character mean something from a perspective. The fans, leave, the arena saying, I want to see it again. It's stupid, but I want to see it again. I don't like it, but I want to see it again. It's like that, so that's the way I think about Mace. I think he can make it work. But he's going to have to be mean, man. He's going to have to be, he's going to have to be the meanest, male model we've ever seen. He's going to have to go out in the ring and really make us feel something. I think this kid got something. We're going to see how it play out.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm open to it. We got two more here before we wrap up for the day. Do for Self Records. How is Stevie Ray doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know Stevie Ray has his podcast. What's the name of it?
Is it Straight Shoot with Stevie Ray?
I thought it was something else. Somebody said he had a new name on it or something like that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, check him out on the show, man. I've been waiting on a call from my brother for a while. I had to talk to him, but 4th of July, happy 4th of July, Big Stevie Ray.
I think it's called Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray.
Well, I know that was the name, but I thought they had changed it.
I don't know.
Stevie Ray Live or something like that.
It is Stevie Ray Live.
Yeah.
There's been a couple names.
Yeah.
All right, last one for the day is from Shannon Moore, who says, has the NWA title lost its credibility?
The NWA title?
The NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
I don't want to say nothing bad about the NWA title. Okay. But the last person I remember holding the NWA title was Harley Race. I know. I know I might get heat for that, but that's what I be thinking when I think about NWA. Okay, I be thinking about Crockett Promotions, NWA. You know, guys like Harley Race, Ric Flair. Nikita Koloff. You know, that's what I be thinking about. So I don't know a whole lot about what's going on with the NWA right now.
I think last I saw, Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona had the title.
Yeah.
And I think he lost it since then.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I didn't Murdoch have it though. I think
remember Murdoch had it.
Yeah, I remember Murdoch had it. Murdoch, let's say this here, one of the greatest NWA world champions of all time. Let's say that.
All right, let's say it. Let's say it.
I just said it.
Magnus had it for a little while. Cody Rhodes did, I think, a short run with the NWA title. I mean, look, it's lost some of its prominence. Sure. I mean, it's not what it was 30 years ago. I mean, I think everyone can admit that. It doesn't mean it's worth less. It's not worth less, but it's not what it was when Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes had it.
Like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of NWA wrestling. To be honest, I'm just being honest here.
I don't watch any.
I don't know what's going on with the NWA. I don't know who their wrestlers are or anything like that.
Well, Tyrus is the NWA television champion.
Who runs that? Corgan, right?
I think Billy Corgan still runs it.
Yeah, Corgan, right? Yeah, but no, I don't know a whole lot about that. But we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. I got a whole lot of stuff to do here. I still got a barbecue to cook. I got the
Get the hell out of here.
pit fired up right now. It's smoking down there. I got to go put the chicken on right now. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out inside the Hall of Fame. All you super chatters, as always, man. We appreciate you guys most definitely. Appreciate you guys more than anything. Brad, as always, making everything go round. We appreciate you. But right now, guys, here inside the Hall of Fame, we got to dip out. Peace. We out.